Okay, back again. Anyway, I can talk about a lot of conspiracy theories that I've read up on over the years that have been very persuasive to me. But the point is not. The point is that truth. There we go. Is rising to the surface. I spoke about spirit being a higher vibration than where we hang out most of the time, and learning how to practice living with our hearts more open and more consciously being able to invoke and invite spirit into our experience and into our daily lives. What I want to say is that so we've seen over the last few weeks, the last week here, that even though Hillary seemed to have lied about 6 or 7 very important things. The FBI says we can't find any evidence to indict her. Isn't that amazing? I love that. I love a good comedy, don't you? And even when Bill met with the Attorney General and they talked about golf and grandkids, and they also said in the New York Times that they would offer her a job. No, there's no bribery. There's nothing to see here, etc. So it turns out from the little reading that I've done about all this so far, and this is all evolving, obviously, right now. But it turns out it's not that Hillary was that she's obviously a pathological liar. That goes without saying at this point, bless her heart. But that she really doesn't fear any consequences from her actions. And as a screenwriter and a novelist, in my own head, I'm like, oh, that's interesting. How is it that she manages to do all this and get away with all this? Well, it turns out that the emails and the server and Benghazi and the 30,000 missing emails and the FBI and the Department of Justice, their inability to be able to indict her for any crimes, even though everyone else on the planet would be indicted, is because because of the Clinton Foundation. There's Aiden. Hi, Aiden. And the Clinton Foundation, it turns out, is a complete and utter sham. And the Clinton Foundation says it's a charity and has raised billions, if not hundreds of billions of dollars as a charity. But it turns out it's given less than 1% of its monies in charitable work. And Haiti, who had, as you recall, this massive earthquake, like a 7-point earthquake, and something like 200,000 people died. The Clinton Foundation promised, for example, they were going to deliver 65,000 jobs, and they delivered 5,000 jobs. And the Haitians at one point were storming the offices of the Clinton Foundation trying to get some of the money that George Bush and Bill Clinton had put their names out there to raise to help the Haitian people. So basically, the short version is that probably since Bill and Hillary left the White House, they've been planning this moment of their political career to regain power. And it seems that how they've done that is by using the Clinton Foundation as a way to money launder and to raise money for blackmail and bribery. And so that's why the Attorney General of the U.S. and the head of the FBI can't find anything wrong with Hillary Clinton's legal problems. No, nothing wrong with Hillary. So is this why Bernie is endorsing her? I don't think Bernie is intimidated by anything, honestly. I think that he really there's 2 things that I read today that gave me hope. One is that the Bernie people were still asking all the delegates, there's like 1,900 delegates, to make sure that they would be at the convention. Now, you wouldn't do that if, you've really given up your campaign, I wouldn't think. And the other thing, as I started to say before I got cut off, is that Franklin Roosevelt endorsed his rival, got to the convention, was able to keep his delegates because of the rules of the convention. He needed to endorse his rival to keep his delegates, evidently. And at the convention, he won the nomination and then he won the presidency. I think that's what Bernie is still hoping can happen. The Clintons are like this incredibly powerful and corrupt group of people, I'm sorry to tell us, who are trying to create their own little party. Not only to take over the White House, but then we have this thing called the TPP, which the Democratic Platform Committee refused to have a vote on. They want